Before you go no contact with a narcissist, stop. Truly stop and watch this video first. Because this isn't just a decision, it's a declaration. A turning point where you're no longer the victim, you become the author of your own story. Think blocking them is enough. Think again. With a normal person, it might be. But with a narcissist, that's war. And if you're not prepared, they'll twist your words, smear your name, play the victim, and weaponize the legal system just to pull you back into their chaos. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because you need to know. You need to be ready. And this video will arm you with truth, strategy, and the kind of inner power that not only gets you out, but keeps you free. Watch until the end. Because I'm not just revealing what narcissists do when you go silent. I'm showing you how to outsmart them, protect yourself, and rise stronger than ever. If you're on the path to breaking free from a toxic relationship, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stick with me. This is where truth lives, clarity begins, and freedom becomes real. So what really happens when you decide to go no contact with a narcissist? It's not just about disappearing from their life. It's not just ignoring their texts, calls, or attention-seeking behaviors. To a narcissist, going no contact is a shock, a collapse, a psychological blow they didn't anticipate, and one they have absolutely no control over. They won't sit still. Narcissists never sit still when they lose control. And in those first moments when they realize your silence is real, when you're no longer dancing in the emotional chaos, they orchestrated their first reaction is denial. She'll come back. He's just playing hard to get. No one ever leaves me. These aren't just hopeful thoughts. They're deeply rooted in their identity, in their belief that they deserve loyalty, submission, and endless attention. But as each day passes and you stay silent, that illusion begins to crack. You may not see it on the surface, but inside them, a war begins. Narcissists thrive on supply emotional reactions, drama, control. Without it, they start to starve. And when they starve, they panic. That's when the games begin. They start twisting the truth. They'll distort your words, accuse you of things you never said, send manipulative emails, and cherry-pick old messages to make you look like the villain. Why? Because they can't handle the idea that you had the strength to walk away without needing to explain yourself. But that's not where it ends. If you stay firm in your no contact, they escalate. They move into legal sabotage and character assassination. They'll delay divorce proceedings, hide documents, disobey court orders. They'll turn mutual friends, family, and even your own children against you all in an attempt to reclaim the power they lost. And here's the truth. Your silence isn't just a boundary, it's a mirror. It forces them to face the emptiness they've been running from. With no one left to control, the narcissist begins to collapse inward. Without your reactions, they start reacting to their own emptiness. You're not just gone, you've taken away the illusion that kept them feeling important. That's why you must be strategically prepared before going no contact. This is not an emotional impulse. It is a psychological exit. Stay with me until the end. Because every minute you watch brings you closer to the freedom you've been denied for far too long. One of the most common mistakes people make when preparing to go no contact with a narcissist is this. They announce it. They warn. They declare, just so you know, I'm going to disappear from your life. This is the last time I'll tolerate this. I can't take it anymore. I'm cutting you off. It might feel powerful in the moment, but with a narcissist, that's exactly what they want. You think you're taking control, but the moment you speak your plan out loud, you're actually giving them time to prepare their counterattack. You're handing them a warning shot, and they will use it to shift tactics, play the victim, or reel you back in with a last-minute performance of false remorse. Worse, you're giving them the chance to launch one final hit before you get away. Here's what you need to understand. You don't owe them a farewell speech. You don't have to make a bold declaration. You don't have to explain anything. You just have to choose yourself and walk away. in silence. Going no contact isn't about making noise. It's not a punishment. And it's not a tantrum. It's not the silent treatment. It's a sacred exit rooted in awakening. It's the moment you realize there's nothing more to say to someone who never listened anyway. And listen carefully, you don't need to tell others either. You don't need to announce it to mutual friends, coworkers, or even family members. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will support you. And worse, some may unintentionally pass the message back to the narcissist. When you go silent, they panic. But if you announce your silence, they prepare. So do it quietly, strategically, for yourself. Not to punish them, but to protect your peace. You have the right to disappear. You have the right to block, delete, disconnect without permission. Because this isn't about leaving a person. It's about leaving a cycle, leaving manipulation, leaving the version of yourself who accepted suffering and called it love. They don't need to know you've gone. They'll feel it when their messages are met with nothing but air. They'll feel it when their bait fails to hook you. They'll feel it when your absence becomes the silence they can't control or fill. And when that happens, don't look back. Don't check. Don't explain. You don't need validation. You need freedom. Because no contact doesn't start the moment you hit block. It starts the moment you stop letting your soul be trapped in their drama. And if you do this quietly, intentionally, for yourself then, no contact isn't just a boundary. It's a reclamation. A quiet thunder that echoes louder than any argument. A whispered promise that says, I choose me. And remember, before you walk away from a toxic relationship, before you step into no contact for real, there's one thing you absolutely must do: get financially prepared, and do it thoroughly. I know when your soul is exhausted, when your heart is shattered. Money may not feel like the most urgent thing, but the truth is emotional freedom isn't sustainable without financial freedom. Narcissists control through many things: emotions, reputation, information, but one of their favorite tools is money. If you've ever depended on them financially, trust me, they know, and they'll use it against you, to punish you, to manipulate you, to make you believe you can't survive without them. That's why no contact doesn't start with blocking their number. It starts with building your foundation in silence. You need a financial safety net, big or small. It needs to be yours, and enough to keep you from crawling back just because you're desperate. Set a goal, ideally. 3 months of living expenses. Not for luxury, but for space. The kind of breathing room that gives you clarity and control when everything feels uncertain. And if you're thinking, there's no way I can save 3 months worth, then start smaller. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. The amount matters less than the message you're sending yourself. You are building your independence. Don't announce it. Don't tell them. Don't explain it to friends who might talk. This is your quiet strategy. Open a private account. Get a separate card. Pick up extra hours. Freelance. Sell something. Do what you can. Quietly. Smartly. Steadily. Because the moment you have even a little financial freedom, you have choices. And choices are power. If you're still living together, make a plan. Where will you go? Who can you stay with temporarily? What resources are available in your area if things get urgent? Remember, narcissists don't just destroy your emotions, they destroy your sense of agency. They make you believe you're helpless, powerless, that you need them. But every dollar you put away, every move you make to protect yourself, is a whispered rebellion against that lie. It says, I'm capable. I'm resourceful. I'm taking my life back. And if you have children, financial preparation becomes even more crucial, not just to keep them safe, but to show them something they'll never forget, that strength isn't loud, it's steady. It's the quiet courage of someone who walks away prepared, determined, and free. Let's be real, the first days of no contact might shake you. There will be moments of weakness. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if it's worth it. And in those moments, your emergency fund becomes your lifeline. Not to coast forever, but to keep you from going back to what once destroyed you. Don't think of saving money as selfish. Think of it as an act of radical self-love. Because no one else is going to rescue you, not in the way you deserve. And nothing is more powerful than a woman, a man, a human being who dares to build their own exit route in silence, without applause, without validation. Only one person needs to know what you're doing. You, because you're doing the right thing. You deserve a life where peace isn't something you have to beg for. You deserve to breathe without asking for permission. And yes, you deserve freedom. In your mind, in your heart, and in your wallet. Especially if your relationship with the narcissist is showing signs of escalation into violence, slander, or legal interference, then there's one thing you need to start doing immediately. Gather evidence. Every detail. Quietly. Precisely. Systematically. You can't just say you feel hurt and expect the legal system to take your side. In the real world, the person who brings proof is the one who gets protected. And narcissists, they're masters of playing the perfect victim. They cry on cue. They lie with confidence. They perform heartache like it's Broadway. So your evidence isn't a luxury, it's your armor. Start with the smallest things. What did they text you? When did they call? What did they say in arguments? Have they threatened you? Have they ever grabbed your arm, shoved you, restrained you from leaving? Do you have physical bruises or marks left behind by their actions? Record everything. Use voice memos if your state allows one-party consent. Photograph any visible injuries. Save their texts, emails, voicemails. Take screenshots before they can delete or unsend anything. Create a hidden password-protected folder, or email the evidence to yourself as backup storage. You might not need it right away, but if you ever have to stand before a judge, these records could be your lifeline. And don't feel guilty for doing this. You're not creating drama, you're documenting reality. When you live with a manipulator, it's hard to convince others what goes on behind closed doors unless you have undeniable proof. If you have children with the narcissist, this becomes 10 times more urgent, because they won't just try to control you, they'll use your children as pawns to continue their manipulation. They may try to take custody not out of love, but to keep a grip on you. So start preparing your legal custody strategy ahead of time. Document everything about your parenting involvement. Who takes the child to school every day? Who handles doctor visits, schoolwork, bedtime routines? Who is consistently absent, or only shows up when it suits their image? Log instances where they've belittled or emotionally harmed your child. If your child mentions they've heard one parent talking badly about the other, note the date, the comment, and how it affected them. If they've missed birthdays, broken promises, or used the child as emotional bait, write it all down. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. Narcissists don't fight fair. They'll try to provoke you into emotional outbursts, record them, and use them in court. That's why gathering evidence also teaches you emotional control. You'll learn to stay calm, to resist taking the bait, to stop giving them reactions they crave. You won't be the one screaming, you'll be the one building a case. One day, you might find yourself on a courtroom stand being asked, "Do you have proof that he was violent? Why did you withhold visitation? He says you're emotionally unstable. How do you respond?" And when that day comes, the quiet documentation you've been doing will speak louder than any words. You won't need to argue. You'll simply present the audio, the screenshots, the photos, the threatening messages, the calendar logs, the notes, the evidence. You don't need to win in an argument, you just need to stand with the truth. And truth, preserved carefully, is the most powerful weapon you'll ever carry into a legal battle, especially when children are involved. Because what you're doing isn't just to protect yourself, it's to protect their stability, their future, and their perception of what love is supposed to feel like. You're not just preparing for court. You're preparing to reclaim your voice, your safety, your power. And you're doing it not with rage, but with clarity, precision, and resolve. This is what it means to protect yourself after narcissistic abuse. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's a slow, quiet, steady return to sovereignty where your truth becomes your shield. So collect it, save it, hide it. Because when the time comes, and it will come, your story won't just be heard, it will be believed. If you've made the decision to go no contact, if you've gathered the pain, the clarity, and the strength to walk away, then remember this: you must not leave any doors open, not even a crack, not even a maybe, not even a thread of hope. Because no contact only becomes truly powerful when it is complete and final. A full stop. Not an ellipsis waiting for a reply. You can't block them and still hope they'll find another way to reach you. You can't delete their number and still check their stories to see who they're dating. You can't walk away and still secretly wish they'll change and realize your worth. That's not no contact, that's toxic hope. And hope like that will break you. The narcissist understands this better than anyone. They may go silent too, but don't be fooled. They're watching, waiting, hoping you'll weaken. They're waiting for you to check in, waiting for you to break the silence first. And if you do, if you reach out, they won't see it as reconciliation. They'll see it as victory proof that you couldn't do it, proof that you still belong to them. Because in a narcissist's eyes, the person who leaves and comes back is weaker, a failure, a reused toy, something they can use again but never respect. So if you walk away, walk like you're never coming back. No final message, no cryptic social media post, no emotional emails. You don't owe them closure. You don't need their regret. You don't even need their apology. What you need is peace. And peace never lives where they do. This isn't about winning a power struggle. This is a spiritual escape. It's the moment you stop believing that your love can heal someone else's darkness. You loved them with everything. You forgave. You endured. You hoped. But love cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And compassion can't reach someone who lives off control. They don't want you better, they want you broken. And every time you go back, they sink their hooks deeper. So, no contact. It must be a locked door, not even a sliver of light underneath. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to bless them. You just leave and shut the door behind you, not out of bitterness, out of awakening. And awakened people no longer bargain with pain. Once you leave, you'll need to train your mind not to look back. There will be days when you miss them. There will be nights when your memories feel louder than your progress. There will be moments when your brain whispers, maybe I overreacted. What if they change? What if they're hurting like I am? That's not clarity, that's withdrawal. Just like someone detoxing from a drug. You're feeling the crash after emotional addiction. You don't miss them. You miss the chaos you were conditioned to interpret as love. And when they go quiet after you go silent, don't mistake it for respect. It's strategy. They're waiting to strike with a Hoover, a dramatic return, full of fake remorse and empty promises. If you open the door again, the same nightmare will repeat, only this time. They'll wear a different mask. Don't be a character in someone else's play. You've played the martyr long enough. Now it's time to leave the stage. No one leaves a narcissist and gets cheered on. You have to bless yourself by never returning to the place that shattered you, because cruelty doesn't come from walking away. Cruelty comes from going back, with hope. Hope for someone who never planned to change. And if you go back again, it's no longer about love. It's a form of self-harm disguised as longing. So if you've gone, no contact, go all the way. Don't check on them. Don't wonder if they reached out. Don't hold on to just one connection left. You don't need to play the role of the mature, understanding X, not with someone who used your kindness as ammunition. You need a new life, a healed heart, a nervous system that no longer flinches every time your phone rings. And that only begins when you dare to close the door for good. And remember this, once you've gone, no contact, truly silent, disappeared. No longer the emotional supply they once depended on. Don't expect them to let you go peacefully. A narcissist doesn't know how to accept defeat. They cannot tolerate being abandoned without the chance to regain control. And when they can no longer reach you to manipulate you directly, They will switch to another weapon, the smear campaign. You must prepare yourself mentally. They will lie. They will twist the truth. They will flip the narrative and paint you as the abuser, the heartless one, the unstable one. And the most painful part, some people will believe them. They may tell mutual friends that you left them for no reason. They may fabricate stories to your family, claiming you're impulsive, mentally unstable, or even dangerous. They'll humanize themselves, use fake tears and carefully chosen words to paint the image of someone who tried their best only to be destroyed by you. This is their favorite tactic, to flip the script and trade places. Victim becomes villain, and vice versa. If you've ever opened up to them about your insecurities, your wounds, or your most painful memories, they'll now weaponize those exact confessions to frame you as broken, while they play the noble sufferer. And in a society that often rewards smooth talkers and compelling stories, they will easily earn sympathy. But you must remember this. You can't control what they say, but you can control how you respond. And your response must be one thing only: calm. They want you to rage. They want you to lash out and defend yourself emotionally, so they can point and say, "See, she's crazy. He's always been like that, controlling and aggressive." So don't play by their rules. When the smear campaign begins, you'll realize something vital: you don't need to justify yourself. Truth doesn't have to scream. You don't need to beg people to understand you. Those who truly know you will not be swayed. Those who choose to believe lies were never truly with you to begin with. Let your silence be your armor. Live with kindness, clarity, and boundaries. And if someone asks, you only need to say, "I don't believe in speaking badly about anyone. I just know I needed peace." One sentence, but it speaks volumes. Don't get dragged into the chaos. Don't try to win the information war, because you're not living to prove who's more wounded. You're living to reclaim your life. If someone turns their back on you because of rumors, let them go. Not every loss is a tragedy. Sometimes, a smear campaign reveals exactly who belongs in your circle and who was only there when you were perfect. And remember this: slandering someone after a breakup isn't a sign of grief. It's a continuation of control. They can't stand that you walked out of the story they were directing, so they rewrite it with you cast as the villain. So what should you do? First, document everything. What are they saying on social media? What messages are they sending to your friends or family? Are there any witnesses to their lies? All of this can become crucial if their campaign crosses a line and you need to take legal action. Second, focus on you. Keep working. Learn something new. Journal. Meditate. Move your body. Rebuild your energy. Not to win with success, but to heal. Because you deserve to return to yourself. And finally, remind yourself every single day your silence is not weakness, it's dignity. Because you know what hurts a narcissist more than anything. Not your shouting, not your anger, but your complete lack of reaction. You don't need to yell to speak the truth. You just need to stay silent, calm, and continue living well. Your peace will say it all. And one day, when their lies start to crumble, when people begin to see the emptiness in their story, you won't need to say, "I told you so." You'll just smile, because you made it through, with truth, with grace, and with a profound love for the person you finally chose yourself. In the end, there's a harsh truth you must never forget. A narcissist never forgets a source of supply they once controlled. Even if 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years have passed, they can still come back. Not because they love you, not because they feel remorse, not because they've suddenly realized you were the most special person in their life. They come back for one reason, and one reason only: they want to reclaim the power they once had over you. During that time, they may have loved someone else, gotten married, had children, divorced, dated others. You might think, they've moved on. They have their own life now. They'll never come back. But for a narcissist, the past is never really the past. It's a vault full of people they can re-access when needed, and when they feel weak, when their current supply pushes back, when they feel alone. Or simply when they see you thriving, they will reappear. It might be a sudden message. Just wanted to see how you're doing. A casual check-in. Saw you on Facebook the other day. It's been a while. Or even a feigned apology. I was wrong. I've never forgotten you. That's the classic Hoover the narcissist's tactic of pulling an old target back in with fake remorse, nostalgic sweetness, and promises of change. And the most dangerous part? It doesn't happen when you're weak. It happens when you're finally happy, when you've healed, when you're loving again, when you have a peaceful family, a successful career, and a soul that's finally calm. They'll show up like a ghost from the past, not to love you, but to test if they still have power over you. If you respond, if you smile, if you answer politely, thinking, it's harmless. You've just reconnected the chain. And from there, they'll begin to wrap the old strings around you again, this time more subtly, more quietly, and more destructively. So you must stay vigilant for life, not to live in fear, but to live in awareness, not to hold grudges, but to hold on to the wisdom your pain taught you. If they come back, you don't need to lash out. You don't need to curse, expose, or confront. You simply don't respond. No explanations, no reopening the door, no engagement. You don't need dialogue to prove you've grown. Your silence is your greatest answer. And if you have a new partner or a family now, be clear with them about who this person was in your life. Not to instill fear, but to ensure you are protected. Honor the boundaries you fought so hard to build. Maybe you changed your number, deleted old accounts, moved to a new place. Still, narcissists can return through mutual friends, a coincidental meeting, or a quiet ping on social media. Nothing is accidental with them. Every move is calculated. And if a small voice in you still wonders, what if they've really changed? Pause. Real change never reappears through testing, ambiguity, or emotional bait. Someone who has truly changed will respect your silence, honor your distance, and never reopen wounds they once inflicted. But a narcissist is different. They don't return for you, they return for themselves. They come to see if you're still vulnerable. They come to disrupt the peace you've built. They come to prove that no matter how many years pass, you still haven't escaped them. It's cruelty wrapped in nostalgia, manipulation disguised as late-blooming love, and your responsibility is to see it before it's too late, to recognize it with instinct, with clarity, with fierce loyalty to yourself. You've left before. You've ignored their attempts. You've blocked, erased, and buried every thread of old hope. Don't let one late-night message, one accidental scene, drag you back into a past you fought years to escape. Don't let sweet words make you forget that the person who hurt you the most is often the one who speaks the softest. The peace you have now is the most valuable thing you've earned, and it deserves to be protected not just today, but always. There's one thing you must remember. No contact is not revenge. It's not about hurting someone. It's a courageous choice to save yourself. You're not running away. You're walking away to return to your worth, to your dignity, to the peace you lost in the battle to keep a love that was never truly yours. Because in a relationship with a narcissist, you weren't loving a person, you were loving an illusion, a carefully crafted image meant to make you believe that you weren't enough without them. And the cruel truth is they never truly loved you. They only loved the power of controlling you, of manipulating your emotions, of making you doubt yourself and then coming to them to feel worthy again. No contact is the awakening from that dream, but it's not easy. No one enters, no contact with a light heart. You will miss them. You will doubt yourself. You'll have sleepless nights where you ache for just one message, one explanation, one better ending. But remember that silence is the ending you needed. If you're waiting for an apology from the narcissist, you're waiting for salvation from the very person who once threw you off the edge. If you're hoping they'll realize their mistakes, you're hoping for a level of awareness they simply don't possess. Narcissists don't change. They adapt. They don't repent. They manipulate through apologies, then continue hurting you in the same old ways, only more subtly, more sweetly, and far more dangerously. That's why no contact is the wall, the shield, the unspoken declaration I am worthy enough not to beg for love anymore. You don't need to defeat them. You just need to free yourself. You don't need anyone to understand your pain. You only need to honor it and let it teach you how to live more gently from that wound. When you choose no contact, you're not just cutting communication, you're creating a new beginning. A space where you're no longer waiting, asking for permission, or living in fear. A life where you can breathe, smile, and say, I'm okay, and finally mean it. And do you know what the most beautiful part is? One day, you won't even remember the last time you thought about them. You won't feel your chest tighten when a notification pops up. You won't rehearse conversations in your head. You won't ask yourself, what if I had done things differently? You'll simply live, and you'll live well. Because people often say the sweetest revenge is success, or happiness, or making them regret. But the truth is the sweetest revenge is needing no revenge at all. It's when you no longer care what they think, say, or do. It's when their name doesn't sting anymore. It's when you realize you don't need closure to move forward. You just need a decision and the courage to stand by it. Before you enter no contact, understand that this is the deepest act of self-love you will ever make. It's not a tactic. It's a turning point. It's the closing of a painful chapter and the opening of a journey toward the light. And if you're getting ready to do it, I'm here to tell you, you are stronger than you think. You deserve a love that doesn't require you to break yourself to feel seen. You don't need validation from someone who never valued you. You only need the company of your own soul, and that is enough. Subscribe to this channel if you need a community that understands, a space to listen, to heal. Share this video if you know someone who needs the reminder that silence is also a kind of power. And always remember, you are not alone.